Well, as always now, Justin, we're going to do the news. Okay.
I love this bit. I love this bit.
So, on the back of Belfast Whisky Week, which happened back in August, there is the announcement that they're going to have a Belfast Festive Whisky Week. So, from the 24th of December to the 1st of January, there will be various boxes available. So it's being run, again, in conjunction with the Friend at Hand in Belfast by Paul O'Keefe. And there are various boxes to be had from, for example, box number 1, which costs £180, and it's the Irish cask strength. So you get 9 miniatures of cask strength bottles. So in it is the brand new Bush 1995, which you and I both sampled, the Bush 2005, which we sampled, the Redbreast 12-year-old cask strength, batch 1, B1/12, Redbreast 30-year-old cask strength, Dunville's 20-year-old cask strength, Blue Spot, more on that during the week probably, a cask strength Middleton, a Killowen oatmeal stout, cask strength obviously from our friends down at Killowen, and the Connemara Turf Moor, all cask strength. Now, there's one which is a really special box. It's the Old and Rare Scots and Irish. That has a Teeling 30-year-old. No, don't be putting that one up.
All right.
No, that's not him. Teeling 30-year-old. We then have the Bushmills 1995 cask strength, the Method and Madness single pot still 28-year-old cask strength, Redbreast 30-year-old cask strength, Greensplot 26-year-old cask strength, Bowmore 26-year-old, Glendronach 26 cask strength, Springbank 17-year-old from 1975, and Long 43-year-old from 1968 cask strength.
These old ones seem to be flavour of the month this while back.
Well, this is probably the only chance that anyone will get to taste these for a reasonable amount of money. What I mean by that is this box is a few £100, but to try and buy these bottles, I mean, they're just prohibitively expensive. I mean, they're going to be big money. So really, for some of these, this is really the only chance that you will get to purchase these. Now, to find out details about it, you can go to the Belfast Whisky Week Facebook page, and the details are in below that. We'll try and maybe get a catch up with Paul at some point during the week, or maybe next week you can get him brought in. But something to look forward to. And if anyone's wanting Christmas gifts, there's a good idea for you.
Yeah, so that's a fabulous idea for a Christmas gift. Definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good idea, and we wish them all the success in the world as usual.
Now, what's next then?
Next is Proper 12 and Mr. Conor McGregor. Yeah. Now, most people will know I'm not a huge fan of this.
I love him. I love him. I love him. Don't hit me. Don't hit me. I love him.
don't hit me. Right. But this week, Conor McGregor and Proper 12 donated another $100,000 to the Tunnel for Towers Foundation. Okay. Proper 12, every time there's a case of Proper 12 sold, $5 goes to charity. And up to £1 million, up to $1 million every year. So this week, the total has reached $1.2 million that's been donated. Now, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation honours the sacrifice of firefighter Stephen Siller, who laid down his life to save others on September 11th, 2001. It's a first responder charity, so basically for the emergency frontline people, so ambulance workers, fire brigade, that kind of thing. This payment goes to their COVID-19 Heroes Fund. Now, I've said that I'm not a fan of this, I'm not a fan of that, but credit where it's due. The fact that $1.2 million has been donated to this charity. There's other stuff that goes along. If anyone wants to go and check it out, it's Tunnel to Towers. They have a Facebook page, they have a website, etc., etc. So Round of applause. Well done, Mr. McGregor. You know.
Yeah, that's good. That is good.
Now, you and I both being tour guides, Justin.
What's a tour guide? What's a tourist? What's a tourist?
Do you remember way back when people used to go different places and see around them? Well, down in County Kerry, the Portmagee Whisky Distillery, micro distillery, has begun construction of their distillery and visitor experience on Barrack Hill. Now, the design company Catapult have come in on this, and Catapult are responsible for such attractions as Teatle Park, which, if anybody doesn't know what that is, that's like an Irish theme park based around packets of crisps.
Yeah, but the biggest wooden roller coaster, I think, in Europe or maybe the world it is. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but they've also done Sea Life in London, Legoland, and they say, they claim that they put 50 million visitors through 81 theme parks that they have designed. Now, they're working with the Portmagee Distillery down in County Kerry, as I said. The development will comprise of geodomes, and one of them will have a cinema dome to tell the story of traditional boats and smuggling, including the story of the 18th century pirate Theobald McGee. That's where the village gets its name, Portmagee. Now, around the centre, they're going to plant 5,000 native Irish trees as well. So John Murphy of Portmagee Whisky Distillery Director says doing things right from the start was very important to us in planning. This sustainability and environmental considerations have been at the heart of every decision made. Solar generated energy, collect and reuse rainwater, energy efficient systems. 550 oak trees will be planted in the grounds to offset the casks that they're going to be filling. It's been supported by Fulcher Ireland. Now, Catapult Chief Creative Officer Phil Higgins says, we're really excited to have started work on this new attraction for Portmagee. The combination of the high-tech experience and fascinating stories that we are building into the narrative will make this a must-visit destination. I think this is quite exciting.
Certainly is. I mean, because there's guides being laid off at some distilleries and other distilleries sort of relocating, and we're always worried about this, but this is very positive for the future.
It is. And the fact that Portmagee are a micro distillery, they're not going to be pumping out, millions of gallons every year. What they're going to be doing is focusing on the visitor attraction, possibly a little bit more than maybe the massive whiskey production. Obviously, they're going to want to be making really good whiskey, but it's that nice combination. And bringing in, a big player to do that is really going to be something else, I'm really quite excited about that, if I'm honest.
Good. Now, time's pushing on. We've two guests this week. What's next then?
Well, we have the Hinch Distillery. And they just skip on a few slides. That's the Portmagee thing. That's still Portmagee.
Yeah, that's the Hinch one. There we go.
This week, the Hinch Distillery christened their stills. So this is Mr. Terry Cross, who's the founder, and the head distiller is Aaron Flaherty, who formerly worked up in Bushmills. So this week saw their distillery get their first 210 casks from Maker's Mark. So this is a £15 million development just down outside Balnahinch.
It's impressive. We've been past it.
I was in round it in January, February time with the guy Andrew O'Neill. Just to get seeing around it, and it's a big operation.
I see the next guy in the picture. Is that him there? No, that's some other fella.
Or the distiller. So £15 million development is going to have a coffee shop, a public restaurant, a pub, a shop. They'll be doing their own bottling line. They'll have their own storage, their offices, and they can accommodate 100,000 visitors a year. So again, more good news.
Superb.
Yeah. Now, we'll go on to our last story, which is the River Rock story. So, River Rock. Now, this is three former directors of Edrington which, if anyone doesn't know who Edward Denard, well, it's named in the wee interview, they've set up their own single malt whiskey, as you can see, River Rock. So Laura Anderson, Bill Farrar, and Mark Geary, who we talked to, have launched a whiskey to leave as little environmental impact as possible. So we did a little interview with Mark during the week. So if you want to load that on, my friend.
We will do. Here we go. Yes, he was quite interesting. He is very, very, very good at what he does, and it's fantastic to have a chance to talk
Marty, who on earth is this guy? Everything that's been done in whiskey's already been done. What on earth's this guy trying to do?
Justin, the world of whiskey is infinite and eternal. You know, it lasts forever. The product lasts forever. But here's a man who has decided to use stuff that maybe doesn't last forever. He's trying to move away from this, the plastic and the waste. And you know the way we always try and highlight some of the environmental stuff that's going on. Well, this guy and his two partners have left one of the biggest whiskey firms in the world to really set up by themselves. And Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Well, I think to answer your question, I think someone once said, back in the 1800s, everything had already been invented.
Yep.
And we're here just to prove that, we're not completely reinventing whiskey, because we absolutely love whiskey. We've worked in whiskey for ages. But you know what? Things change.
Yes.
And the world changes, and there's an opportunity to do things in a slightly different way. And we think more sustainably is one of the key things. And It doesn't get away from you need a brilliant, brilliant whiskey inside the bottle. But let's just think a bit more broadly about our impact on the world. And then we can enjoy our drink even more, is the idea.
Yeah.
So shall I tell you what we're doing a wee bit different to other people?
Please do.
Right. Best way of demonstrating, I don't know if you can see this, is here you go. Here's 2 bottles. Now, no labels, no whiskey, and apologies, but it shows you some of the difference, right? So what we do is we have a rule that we want it to have as minimal impact as possible on the great outdoors that we love while still having a great whiskey. So what most people do is they say, well, we're only going to take one colour of glass. And that means they've got to control it, they've got to get the glass that right colour, and they've got to really use all that glass. What we say is actually, you see when you're changing from a green to a clear bottle, we'll take that glass you normally don't use, and we can't control it, but instead of being thrown away, we'll use it. So you might get a bottle of our whiskey in this colour, in this colour, in this colour, but it'll always be the same great whiskey. I'm juggling bottles here. There it is, inside the bottle, so you can enjoy it. But you're also doing slightly less damage and using less energy in the environment. And again, just little things like we don't use plastic. We use completely biodegradable viscose on the heat shrink thing. Just little things like that. And we don't use lots of fancy foils and lots of coloured printing. We keep it nice and simple. And again, it just means that whilst you're drinking a great whiskey, you're having a slightly less impact on the world. And for every bottle that people buy and enjoy, we'll plant a tree up on Schiehallion, which is, again, those who know Scotland, it's a pretty famous Munro up in Scotland. And what they're doing through the John Muir Trust is just putting some of the native trees back round there to recreate the habitat for the creatures which we'd naturally have up in Scotland. So sorry, a bit of a long explanation, but that's what the essence of what we're trying to do.
Is this to appeal to the American market in California?
Well, hopefully, because there's lots of them. But no, it's to appeal to be honest, we set out, we said, we're setting up a new company. Let's do it the way we want and with the things we believe in. So absolutely, the most important thing is a great whiskey inside the bottle. But let's just think slightly bigger than that, because everyone else, if you want a standard whiskey, there's already tons of great whiskies doing that. So why not do something different? And there's lots of people in Scotland, in England, and Ireland, and in America who, just have a little bit of consideration for these things when they're choosing a brand. And equally, brands are just a little bit different to the ones that their parents or grandparents were drinking.
I personally think the environmental problems of the world can really only be fixed by companies. No matter what governments say, the actual practicalities has to be done by business. And the more this is highlighted that people are doing this kind of thing, doing it responsibly, putting something back. I mean, for every tree that's planted, well over a ton of CO2 sucked in by a tree. You're making the place more beautiful. You're cleaning the environment. What's not to like? You know?
Well, yeah, I'm with you, Marty. I mean, at the end, that's exactly what we're trying to do. You know, without getting very lofty and worthy, we want to hand it on to future generations in a better shape than we've got it now. So, and I'm with you. It comes upon all of us to see what we can do. So, if we're setting up a business, we want to make sure we make that contribution. And we look at three things: the materials we use, are they as sustainable as we can make them? And we're not 100% there, but we're always trying to get better. Second,
Absolutely.
can we make it easy for people to recycle and ideally reuse the stuff that they've got? We're working on that. And third, can we make a positive contribution? And we're doing that through for every bottle you buy, we'll plant a tree, and it's a native tree rather than just, a tax scheme, we'll put any old tree anywhere. So we're working with people who can trust and know what they're doing.
Yeah. Now, your background and your two partners, you worked for Edrington?
Yeah, I work for Edrington. Apologies, the sun's come out in Scotland. It doesn't happen very often, so I'm basking.
Vitamin D.
It's like when I started talking about the environment, the sun shone down on my face.
It's a sign. It's a sign.
Yeah, absolutely. We worked for Edrington for many years, and great company, and I got some great whiskies, and that's where we really got to learn about single malt and what we like and what we don't like, but also, there's what we're trying to do is not deny that there's some great single malts out there. It's just welcome more people in to enjoy what we think is a great spirit. And the world doesn't need, with all due respect, another whiskey exactly the same as every other whiskey. So what we're trying to do is just, without being trite, just welcome more people in and talk about stuff that is important to people and give them, we think, a great single malt. It's a bit sweeter than maybe some of the other ones, which just allows people to enter and access it more easily.
For anyone who doesn't know what Edrington is, it's Macallan, Grouse, and all this kind of stuff. So, I mean, these are big brands, and for you to make a leap into doing your own independent bottlings, I wholeheartedly concur with this. You have a philosophy, wonky.
Yeah, the whole wonky thing, partly but just the glass. This is the glass that no one else wants. It's what we call the wonky glass. It's a glass that normally goes to waste, and the glass manufacturers thinking, what do I do with this? So we thought, you know what, love that wonkiness, love the difference. And equally, we also, I think, have heard enough people saying, well, you've got to drink whiskey like this, or you've got to drink whiskey like this. And we're saying, well, no, listen, everyone's individual. You're as individual as this bottle. If you enjoy a whiskey with some water, grand. If you prefer having on the rocks, if it's straight, with a twist, the most important thing is you enjoy a great spirit and a great drink. Yeah. So I reckon I always say that if someone starts telling you how you should drink it, it shows more about their need to conform rather than does your appreciation of a great whiskey. So, we're just trying to help people enjoy a great spirit and do it in a slightly different way, which hopefully is more welcoming.
So every bottle is individual.
Aye.
Every single bottle is individual. You have limited labelling. It's very minimal. The impact. You've partnered up with some other groups, other companies.
Yeah, we have. It's a good spot. It's they're small independent companies. They're guys like us who are trying to make a brand in certain areas. It might be cycling, it might be clothing, it might be coffee. There's another company doing outdoor adventuring, and we kind of describe it, and it sounds a bit dry, but it's good people doing good things. Back to the point, Marty. We've got to get the idea of sustainability and just a kind of broader social responsibility at the heart of businesses. And these are companies who do that, and we're working with them. We took them, we got together, we know some of them from the past, and we got together and went out and did a bit of co-steering. I went back to the beach, had a tasting. It was my first official tasting of River Rock, sitting around on the beach after doing. And again, it was just kind of sharing stories with friends in a great setting, enjoying a great whiskey. And it's that kind of common values. You're working with people because you want to work. And actually, the people who they talk to might like to talk to us or might like to talk to somebody else in that little group because we're all sharing those same values.
How many Monroes have you got left to do? Because that's where you're heading this weekend. That's why you can't join us. That's what I want to know.
But no, lots. We're taking I'm not really want to tick them all off. I like going out in the hills and love enjoying the outdoors. But I've 3 youngish lads who have got far too much energy for me. So dragging them up a hill early on a Saturday morning hopefully keeps them quiet for Saturday afternoon. So we're up to Ben Vorlich, which is just on the side of Loch Earn, and staying overnight up there in a tent on Friday night, and then up on the hill on Saturday, and back home for some warmth on Saturday night.
Sounds fantastic. Marty, have you interrogated Mark enough about this?
I think so. I just have to warn, at least in November, the midges will be talking about. You'll not get ate by midges, maybe not as much anyway.
No, they'll be far too cold and frozen, a bit like we probably will be on the hill. So.
Well, Mark, enjoy the sunshine and keep up the good work, and hopefully we'll catch up.
Good to chat, guys. Thanks very much. Catch you later.
No, there you go, Marty. What was that like? A lot of positive comments coming from as far afield as America there. Fantastic idea, River Rockets, is there?
Absolutely. I keep saying this, Justin. To fix the environmental problems of the world, it's only business can do this. Governments can do stuff, but whenever businesses do this kind of program, this kind of project, that's how the environmental problems will be solved. Now, Justin, what do we have? We have a competition, Justin.
Do we?
Yes, because after we come off, Mark said he's going to send out 20 samples to people who watch the show. So what we'll do is we will run another little competition, and we'll get addresses, names and addresses, and we'll send out the samples. Because he stands by the whiskey, he stands by the message, and we'll do a live tasting some evening, and